Good morning, everyone. My name is Shinta Sari, and I am a student in the University of Adelaide. I'm a master's student. And this morning, I would like to introduce my research to you. It's called Teachers and Tutors Perceptions of the Optimizing Problem-Solving Framework in Mathematical Context. So let me introduce you to the two terms I use in this research. The first term is optimizing problem solving, and we can call it OPS framework. So OPS is used by students, tutors, and teachers in problem solving activities, and it was recreated from the RSD framework in 2014. And the next term is problem solving. So in this research, problem solving regarding the mathematics is defined as the capacity of students to use mathematics knowledge in non-routine situations to scaffold their skills in problem solving. And yeah, you should be familiar with this. So it's OPS Pentagon. It's pretty similar to RSD framework or RSD Pentagon, but we can see in a minute about the compare and contrast about RSD and OPS. So the same thing about this framework with the RSD is that they have the same motto, is that when in doubt, you can go to the center. So OPS framework still has 6 facets. The first is define problems and specification, generate and reflect, find and evaluate, organize and manage, analyze and synthesize, and communicate and apply. So let's see the difference between RSD and OPS. We can focus on the first 3 facets of this framework. We have embark and clarify in RSD, but in OPS they use define problems and specification. The next is that find and generate in RSD, but in OPS they have find and reflect. Then evaluate and reflect in RSD, and generate and evaluate and in OPS. Then the other 3 facets are similar. So why they have some difference in these 3 first facets? It's because of the mechanical engineering students find it more beneficial and more effective to use this term in teaching and learning activities in mechanical engineering. And I also find it beneficial to use it in mathematics context. Then, why I conducted this research? The first reason is that problem solving is an important skill should be mastered by students in 21st century. But in fact, the students do not prioritize these skills in their teaching and learning. So, teacher need to have some rules in these problems. That's why the teachers should find it beneficial or may find it beneficial to adopt some problem-solving framework to be used in their teaching and learning activities. And I find it potentially beneficial to use OPS framework. So in mathematics problem solving, why I say that it may be potential to use OPS framework in mathematics? I have 3 reasons. The first is that OPS was developed for students by students. So we know that OPS framework was developed by mechanical engineering students and tutors. So they use this framework also to help other students to scaffold their problem-solving skills. And it's designed to scaffold problem-solving abilities, and then the OPS framework connects mathematical problem-solving abilities to broader thinking, for example, through critical thinking and some communication skills. The gap of this research to the previous studies is that there is a lack of studies discussing and exploring the implementation of the optimizing problem-solving framework in mathematical context. So that's why I raised a research question about what is the perceived usefulness by teachers of international students of the optimizing problem-solving framework for teaching mathematical problem-solving. Why I researched about teachers' perceptions. Because teachers is a gatekeepers in teaching and learning activities. Teachers is a frontliner that should have a majority that should conduct effective teaching and learning in mathematics. So teachers have to get ready in all aspects before teaching the students. So they have to master the framework that they use. They have to master the environment of teaching and learning. And they also have to provide students with some good facilities and learning methods. Next, I use ethnography study in this research because I analyze participants' perspective of this OPS framework. And I have 9 participants in this research. I divided into 2 categories of the participants. The first category is 2 tutors of mathematics drop-in center in the University of Adelaide, and the other 7 participants are international and local students. They are mathematics teachers in their home country. And I use semi-structured interview to gain their perspective about OPS framework in mathematical problem solving. And then I analyze the interview result by using thematic content analysis. So, based on the result of the interview, I found 3 categories regarding participants' comment about this OPS framework. They found it potentially beneficial for their teaching and learning in mathematics. The first thing is regarding the concept of the OPS framework. The second thing is regarding the structure. And the third thing is regarding the holistic nature of the OPS framework. So let's see for the concept of the OPS framework. The participants said that the concept of the OPS framework may be perceived useful in their teaching and learning of mathematics because they saw that this framework can enhance students' higher order thinking skills. We can see one participant commented about the concept of this OPS framework. If you interpret and if you search these things, it will be very helpful and it's good for the improvement of problem solving and critical thinking skills of the students. The next concept is regarding the non-sequential facets of this framework. So we know that this framework is not arranged by order, so the students can also go back and forth. If they already in the steps of communication, they also can go back to define problem and specification in their steps of solving the problems. So one participant comments that having no sequence could be a strength of this OPS framework. But in the other aspect, the other participants also comment that they commented that having non-sequential facets could be a weakness of this framework because they thought that this concept might consume more time regarding if we compare it to the other framework. And the next concept that they think might be potentially beneficial for mathematics teaching is about the meaning of each facet. They argued that each facet has some meaning in problem-solving activities, and also they think that they have their own favorite facets for problem-solving activities. Yep, one thing regarding the facet in this OPS framework, what I found interesting is that one participant said that the generate and evaluate facet could be overlapped with organize and manage facet. So only one participant said about that, but it should be our consideration. It should have our consideration about that. And the next one is regarding the structure of the OPS framework. Yep. 5 of 9 participants agree that the pentagon shape was more effective and efficient for students' learning. Yeah, this is the comment of one participant. they love the pentagon shape, but they suggested some improvement about the pentagon. The first thing is that regarding the word format of the pentagon, they said that the word format should be in line, and then to make it more readable and synchronize each other. And they also suggested that the OPS pentagon could have more color in the printout, or because they think that the color can enhance students' performance. And I found it linear with some reference that said that color can improve students' activities in teaching and learning. Yep, the next part of this OPS framework is the holistic nature of the framework. All participants agreed that OPS framework could be potentially useful in mathematics context, but they suggested some requirement. Like the first one is that teacher can use this framework in mathematics context, but it should be with an appropriate pedagogical strategy. And the next thing is that it should be implemented in a suitable learning context. For example, in mathematics, one participant said that probably in logarithm theme or some complicated topic in mathematics, we can apply this OPS framework. And then the OPS framework still needs a sufficient share to teachers, tutors, and probably to the policymaker in some countries. For example, in Indonesia, I still couldn't find any research or literature that discuss about OPS framework. Next, we come to the conclusion. The usefulness of this OPS framework can be categorized into three. The first is about the concept, the structure, and the holistic nature of this framework. And regarding the teachers' perceptions, the OPS framework could be a barrier for teachers in implementing in the implementation of mathematical context. But in some cases, it could be some advantages in this OPS framework. And for the recommendation, I recommend further study should use actual academic results as an outcomes and could be an action research about this OPS framework. Yep, the OPS framework can be beneficial for enhancing students' higher order thinking skills, and it should be also useful in mathematics learning because the new invention in mathematics on teaching and learning activities, and it should be beneficial in numeracy policy, so the policymaker can implement this into the curriculum. Yep, these are some references that I use in this research, and thank you.